Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And once again, I am very lucky as Terror Films has given me another early access screener so I can watch a movie before it comes out later on this month. So the movie I'm referring to is the 2025 film The Night is Young, directed and co-written by Patrick Rea. So, right away, I want to give you a heads up that this movie is a found footage film, which, by the way, that's not always a bad thing. I'm just not always the biggest fan of that. I will say, though, one thing I really did like about this is that the quality of the camera in this is pretty good. Now, mind you, there are some found footage films that work extremely well because the footage looks terrible or outdated, but this one, I do like the fact that it is more of a modern day camera style. So here's the concept for this film. We have our main character of Nora. Now, she is a professional vlogger, but Nora also has been having a rough time when it comes to dating. So she decides to blend her two worlds together by having her brother as a cameraman record her dates and put them out on her vlog. Now, don't worry, the dates do know about this ahead of time. It's not that she's having her brother do this from the shadows. That would be incredibly creepy, especially because it is her brother. Now, the movie almost seems like a bit of a comedy at first, as we get to see some of the dates that Nora goes out on, and these are all horrible. These are like the worst of the worst dates. But she doesn't give up and she keeps going. Now, one night, she goes to have a new blind date, but the date never shows up. Now, at the other end of this bar is a woman named Amelia who has kind of noticed what's been going on and has heard that her date stood her up. So she offers to buy Nora a drink, and the two of them hit it off very quickly. So as the evening progresses, things seem to be going very well for these two, and it looks like Nora and Amelia might be going off to do their own thing and leaving Jake to his own devices. But as the three of them are walking back to their vehicle, a mugger shows up out of nowhere and attacks Nora. Amelia then seems to spring into action as she now has fangs and attacks the mugger. Apparently, she's a vampire. Amelia then whisks away Nora and her brother to a safe space where she can explain what's going on. Now, while Nora and Jake are finally getting some answers as to what's going on, the evening is interrupted once again, but this time by a group of vampire hunters who also have their own cameraman. The rest of the movie is now Amelia, Nora, and Jake trying to escape from these hunters before the sun rises. So, first, I'll start off with what I liked about the film. I very much liked the concept here, and the characters were pretty interesting. Now, as for what I didn't like, and honestly, a lot of this is because it was a found footage. Not that I didn't like it because it's found footage, but because of how it was handled. Number one, this was a very in depth story. Like, there's a lot technically going on, and I think it's very difficult to do a lot of backstory in a found footage film where you're not showing footage of any of the past. You're just kind of describing it and trying to have us get connected to these characters without actually getting any of that past. The second thing for me, and this is me honestly just being very nitpicky, but at the same time, just not being able to get past this, there are so many moments throughout this film where it makes zero sense for things to be recorded at that time. But because it is found footage, everything is being recorded. Now, I think this movie could have done better if it was just a regular film with some sequences being done as found footage. Mind you, this is all my own opinion. So I don't think it's a bad film at all. It just wasn't one that really connected with me. So at least for me on my scale, I'm giving this film a 2 out of 5. I do recommend checking it out for yourself, especially if you do like found footage horror. Now, it is going to be coming out April 18th, and you'll be able to watch it streaming on Tubi, Chilling, Scare Network, and Kings of Horror. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Skewed Reviews. And once again, thank you so much, Terror Films, for allowing me to watch another early access screener. I hope you keep sending them my way. And if there's anyone else out there who has access to being able to give out screeners, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to be able to watch your film, do a review, and give it some more publicity.